Honestly, is to do whatever it takes to be top of mind daily, right? If you can be top of mind daily with some type of structure and plan, you're gonna win in this market, in any market. So, as a loan officer watching this, your goal has got to be that when your realtor group, right, that you want to get business from goes on Facebook, within 7 minutes, they're seeing you, right? If they go on Instagram, they see you. If they're checking their emails, which they are, they get a daily email or a weekly email or bi-weekly email from you to stay in front of them with a different angle.
Hey guys, Wally Olivieri. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. All right. So super excited about today. We've got Dave. Dave reached out to me originally with I've read his newsletter for a long time. He's been a pinnacle in the mortgage space, which he'll talk more about his newsletter. But I guess one of the first questions I kind of have, Dave, is like, where do you start getting the passion of building out the newsletter?
Hey, Wally, yeah, great question. I'm actually a gigantic email nerd. I do a ton on social media because I'm an originating loan officer in the Houston, Texas area, right? So I do a ton of social media, a ton of YouTube. And what I started to notice is how valuable some of these newsletters were, like Morning Brew and some other things, and then studying email marketing. And it really made me dive into, something to provide the loan officers along those lines that, 3 times a week, you get some general news that's helpful to you that you're not getting otherwise. And so that was the goal, along with studying email marketing, because I think that's as social media became more and more popular and became saturated, a lot of people are forgetting how valuable email marketing is, right?
So when I get on social, obviously I'm seeing you all over social. I'm seeing you on Facebook, Instagram. Then you've got the YouTube. So you're on social, you're on YouTube, you've got the newsletter, you're focused on email. Like, talk to me about the strategy here when you're going through this and you're, mentoring, coaching loan officers through this. Like, what's a strategy you kind of follow for this?
Honestly, is to do whatever it takes to be top of mind daily, right? If you can be top of mind daily with some type of structure and plan, you're gonna win in this market, in any market. So, as a loan officer watching this, your goal has got to be that when your realtor group, right, that you want to get business from goes on Facebook, within 7 minutes, they're seeing you, right? If they go on Instagram, they see you. If they're checking their emails, which they are, they get a daily email or a weekly email or bi-weekly email from you to stay in front of them with a different angle, right? I think all systems have some type of general marketing email, turn back the clock, Merry Christmas, what plants to plant in spring. I mean, no one gives a shit about that stuff. They want to see something that jumps out and says, hey, here's the keys to getting a DSCR loan, right? Or here's the key to getting a bank statement loan, or here's a loan that I closed that 5 other loan officers denied. That's putting you top of mind without saying, give me a shot. I'd love to earn your business. Can I work with your next buyer? Like, yeah, no kidding. Give them something that registers for them to say, oh man, I see him everywhere. I see that he does things other people can't do. I'm definitely going to reach out to them. And if you do that, that's the key.
So 2 huge nuggets so far. One, I talked about being top of mind. So if you're a loan officer listening to this, that's absolute key to success, top of mind. Then number 2 is what's in it for them. And what how can they utilize the tools that you have to either convert a client or take a difficult loan and make it a success. So it's definitely what's in it for them. So as you've grown and scaled your business, Dave, like how how do you advise or coach loan officers to follow in your footsteps with the email marketing if you focus on that?
Your goal, and this was my goal in the beginning of my career, I was a maniac about getting realtor emails and even client emails and adding them to that CRM. I'm blown away by how many realtors and loan officers don't even have a CRM or are actively using it. And then when you tell them, it's like, hey, you got to do this. And they're like, I get a lot of business and I don't even need one. And it's like, no, you're missing a huge opportunity, which even just using it at all is going to get you business. But your goal needs to be disciplined and to do it on a consistent basis. If that's twice a week, it's twice a week. If it's once a week, whatever. Me personally, it's pretty much daily that I'm emailing my database with a short snippet along with a link to a YouTube video. So then I'm getting double dipping, right? Like, how can you improve your Instagram views or your YouTube or your TikTok? Use that video embedded in your email marketing, right? Now you've got an email and you're a social media touch.
You're doing that on a daily basis to your database? Wow. We'll talk about the cadence there. So, you hear all the time, and I think what's super inspiring about what we just said though is most people will be like, well, I don't want to bombard them. I don't want to be annoying. Right. I don't want them to unsubscribe. So I guess coach me through that as you go through it. Like, why not twice a week? Why not once a week? Why 5 times a week?
I think you have to find what makes you comfortable and piggyback on that. So when I started, it was once a week with a long form YouTube video. Okay. So the subject line was roughly that YouTube video topic, title, a short couple sentences leading into the video, and then a link and thumbnail for the video. And then what I realized, and this is me personally, is how do I jumpstart that even more, right? Because I think Grant Cardone has this quote, like, you never see a Coca-Cola commercial and then say, oh my God, Coca-Cola, they advertise too much, right? Or a Target commercial. So if you're using a unique style, entertaining with videos, right? I'm Dave, your mortgage guy, so it stands out from Bob with X, Y, and Z company. If you take an angle, maybe they're funny, maybe they're entertaining, right? If you do that and you bring value, most people aren't going to unsubscribe. And even if they are, they would unsubscribe even if you had good information. Like, unsubscribing is all part of it. And people default to, oh my God, so-and-so unsubscribed. Okay, it's going to happen. Your goal shouldn't be to worry about unsubscriptions. It should be worrying about how to add more people to that CRM.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I feel it's like what do you feel is an acceptable unsubscribe percentage? So if we frame it for a loan officer, if it's 10% or 50%, doesn't matter, whatever number you come up with, and you frame it to a loan officer, hey, if you're within this range, this should be acceptable.
That's a tough one to answer depending on how you're adding the names to the database, right? So your past clients unsubscription would be very low, right? But if you're adding every single lead that you receive into your CRM, which you should, you're going to have a higher percentage, right? My concern would be, I want to be consistently adding more at a higher, faster pace than I would worry about the unsubscriptions. So if you're losing, let's say 10%, then I should at least be adding 10% each month to that database. And then I'm breaking even, right? Now, obviously you want to go past that, but that's kind of where to do it. I think loan officers need to realize that that's going to happen no matter if they love you, hate you in general. And you should be adding people to your CRM that don't know you, which means they're going to unsubscribe
Yeah.
inevitably because, hey, I don't know who this guy is. They'll take it off. It's not about that one person. It's about that other person who doesn't know how they got on your email list, have been receiving your emails. And 2 months later, they're like, hey, I've been receiving your emails. I got a client. I think it'd be perfect for
Yeah.
you or this loan or whatnot.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like you look at it, I mean, you can take this the direction of you can focus on your database with the email marketing. You can focus on your realtor referral partners with the email marketing. There's multiple different ways you can take it. Like I probably would need to pick your brain on it, but I guess let's use this for an example. So in Dallas Fort Worth, here like in the I think it's actually mostly like in Texas. I got a list of 29,000 of the top realtors here in Texas. And so 29,000. So you've got 29,000 names, phone numbers, email addresses, and they've been scrubbed. It was originally like 40,000. It's down to 29,000. So that 29,000, I've got those email addresses there. So do you think you start off with a weekly email out to them, then you branch off to like maybe a couple months later you do it twice a week, and or do you build up to once a day, or do you start off once a day regardless?
No, you build up. I think the loan officer themselves have to be comfortable in what they're doing in their own marketing and then add to that. So, like on the Mortgage Nuggets, we offer where they can pay us, and we're writing the email marketing once a week for them.
Oh wow. Okay.
But because I think that's the biggest hole is like I would start with, okay, every Thursday, hypothetically speaking, is going to be my day to send out an email. Wednesday, I'm going to write that email, right? Or maybe it's on Friday and Thursday you do it. But
Yeah.
as a loan officer, I'm picking the day that it's going out, and I'm picking the day that I'm going to figure out what it's going to be. And it may be me writing it. It may be the Mortgage Nuggets. It may even be your branch manager or another loan officer giving advice. Whatever it is, commit to that one thing, get traction, and then say, hey, I'm doing really well with this. I bet you I can go to 2 days a week. Right.
Okay.
And some of it's where the content is. So, like my stuff that's going out, I'm doing a daily YouTube video in general. Most of those, probably 99% of the emails that are going out are that YouTube video. So now what seems like a very daunting task, when you break it down, if you do one good TikTok video a week and you only send that out, then you're done, right? You're not even doing anything additional like rewriting and reinventing the wheel. You're saying, hey, that video is great. Here's my weekly video.
Yeah. Do you do much? I mean, if you're doing a daily video, are you recording it and then sending it out, or are you recording it, editing it, and then sending it out?
Yeah. So what I do is I build out my social media YouTube calendar, usually about a month out.
Okay.
So it'll be a video I filmed. We edit it. I know it's scheduled for Wednesday, and then it loads and posts Wednesday morning, and then I'm writing the email and sending it out based on that one video. And so that's the other thing where you've got to really start to plan your social media instead of winging it. And then from there, it's much easier to add these other things because you're so structured.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, we do a monthly social media calendar for our realtor groups, and then we've got one internally for our mortgage team. But I think I like the idea of doing, we do something called Team Wally Wisdom Wednesdays. And it could be just Wisdom Wednesdays, but it could be, we record the video on Monday, send it out directly to them on Wednesday, and it's a consistent every Wednesday to the database. I mean, the database has got about 28,000 households in it in our HomeBot, in our Sales Boomerang, in our database. But then that realtor group, would you send one email out to your realtors, then a separate email different out to your past clients?
Man, you know what, Wally? That's a fantastic question. And the number one I get, because everybody wants to overthink it, right? So if it's
Okay.
about, prime example, I did a video on a whole bunch of different mortgage angles when you're getting divorced, right?
Okay.
Well, hey, I don't want to send this out to Bob and Diane because they're happily married and it's never going to come up and blah, blah, blah. as soon as you overthink it, you're not going to market to anybody. So I literally will send out the same video, unless it's realtor specific. I'll send out the same video to my realtors, my past database, future leads, leads that never committed or proceeded. And the aha moment for me on that was a couple years back. I had closed the deal, let's say in 2 weeks or under 2 weeks, right? And I did a video like, hey, I closed this deal in under 2 weeks. A guy who had reached out to me 2 years prior to that video didn't apply with me, didn't go with me. He happened to be buying a home, was with Chase, and Chase had denied his loan and he only had 2 weeks to close. There was no more extensions. Got the video, called me, and I got the commission off of that deal. So I think as soon as you overthink it, you're shooting yourself in the foot instead of just saying, hey, this is good stuff, period.
Yeah.
Let me blast it out. And what's one more reason for you not to do it? Well, I don't want to send this because of that, and it could be this and then that. Then you're just not going to do it.
So if I'm going to do a video on Wednesdays, I just do one video and it goes out to the 28,000 households, and it also goes out directly to the 29,000 realtors here in Texas I'm going after.
Yeah, because I think depending on what it is, unless you're giving realtor tips, it's useful.
Yeah.
Well, if it's business advice, I think it's useful to realtors and it's useful to clients because some of them are going to appreciate it and know you as a business person, right? So
yeah. So I guess coach some of these loan officers for me of this content calendar. So to me, let's just say I'm a loan officer doing 2-3 deals a month. Finally doing about $1 million a month. Obviously, I got my teeth kicked in 2023. I'm excited about 2024, and I'm door knocking. I'm doing all this extra effort, but man, then you're gonna have me create a calendar for the whole week. Like, where am I gonna find the time? Is it really worth it? Should I do it? Like, walk me through your angle there.
you should be going into every week with that schedule mapped out, at least 90% of it, right? There may be some things here and there like, oh my God, I don't have a 4 o'clock Tuesday post, right? So now I know I need to look for it. But you should be doing so much content that you have the ability to schedule stuff out at least a week in advance, right? I do a month because I don't want to deal with it. I want to know it's there and then make little tweaks. And that helped me because it had gotten to a point where like, man, you got to post 2 times a day, 4 times a day, 3 times a day. That's too difficult. And I think for the loan officers watching, and then what they have to keep in mind is we get bogged down in the task of right now. Like, I've got this file, and if it doesn't close and all that stuff. The truth of the matter is, if you can market to the most amount of people humanly possible, it's going to make you the most amount of money and get you the most amount of business. Yeah. How do you do that? Consistently do social media, consistently do email, and start at just, if you're doing no posts consistently, then your goal is every single day do 1 post. And then if you're not doing any CRM emails, once a week, I have got to be sending out at least 1 email to my 300 realtors. And then my goal is to add as many realtors as possible. So then 300 becomes 3,000.
Yeah.
Right?
So are you doing, like, if someone for a loan officer to start, and they're going to do 1 email a week, and it's going to be a combination of realtors and it's going to be a combination of past clients, and you're just going to do 1 email a week, get me in the game. So if I do that, are we doing it to where it is it a written out word email, or is it a video email like a bomb, or how do you start?
If you have no idea where to start and you're camera shy, the first thing I would do is, for any loan officers watching this, is sign up for the Mortgage Nuggets email marketing, plan, because we're going to give you that email to send out every single Friday to your realtor database based on me choosing something that I'm using my own marketing about, an article or a program or something, not specific to me, but specific to loan officers. And it's written in a style that makes it believable or seem that they wrote it. Start there and then add your own additional style that you like. So if you're good at video or you want to start doing video, figure out how to get that in there. To me, it's using a YouTube link and just emailing it out, right? And then consistently add. I think the thing that loan officers struggle with most is, what do I even say or do? And that's why you would just sign up for the service. Those who don't struggle with it, is there a file you close that somebody else didn't close? Is there a guideline change? Is there a question you got asked that a client asked you and you have the answer? Those are all topics to rewrite or do a video on and send out. And then get traction, right? To me, the biggest win will be, hey, Wally, I've been receiving your emails. I have a client for you.
Yeah.
Bottom line, there's no bigger home run than that, because then you realize all that work definitely paid off. How can I do more of it?
100%. 100%. Well, I mean, if I'm a loan officer, I'm excited to hear more about the mortgage nugget. So tell me about like what does that service look like, and what does the process look like? What should my expectations be?
Yeah, great question. So the program is, we're going to write that email and send it out to you every Thursday morning. You're going to then use that email in your CRM, whichever form you use. If you email individually, if you use a CRM, it's going to give you a text message that you can then copy and send to your realtors. It's going to give you a social media post to copy and do it. There's going to be call to actions in those emails, like if you'd like a copy of this article, if you have any questions, things like that. And right now we're like $20 a month or $200 a year. Like, it's ridiculously cheap. And I did that on purpose because we're going through a difficult time. This is the biggest thing that many of them struggle with. And so I was like, look, I'll provide it. There's no reason not to take advantage of it. And at a minimum, you're going from doing no CRM marketing to at least something, which is in itself valuable. And at that price, you need to close like, I don't know, 1/10 of a file in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, it's maybe not the best business model, but it is the most helpful for sure.
So that sounds great for a loan officer starting out in that space. Let's just say now you're talking to a $20 million or $30 million loan officer, kind of middle of the pack. What do you feel? Is there another package above that you guys offer, or is it that you just offer one package?
We just offer that one package for right now.
Okay. If someone comes to you and they want a customized package, are you open to that?
Possibly. We haven't dug into it. We've had it out for a couple months and got way more subscribers than I thought going into it. So I had low expectations, and we've done great, and they've stayed subscribing. So I don't know. It depends on what is all involved in really kind of upgrading from there and what it is. A lot of them everybody wants to get producing more, wants to customize it to more of their style, which relies more on them to do that than maybe we would, right?
You ever think about selling your monthly content calendar?
I don't know. No, I mean, not until you mentioned it.
I mean, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Man, that's I'm writing this down. That's a legitimate that's why everybody loves you, Wally. That's a legitimate thing I had never thought of, right?
Yeah, so I appreciate that. No, man, I value what you do. I love your videos on social. It's super engaging. But then the mortgage nugget and the email, I think it's people highly or underestimate the power of email. And I think you've done a great job of building a business. I mean, two separate businesses, the mortgage nugget and then also your mortgage business, based on a very strong vehicle in email marketing. I mean, well, my biggest goal today was for you to be highlighted for your efforts and what you bring to the mortgage community, and how do they get access to you? How do they reduplicate your success? Because you're one of the people on the forefront of giving. So I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And I think now more than ever, those that can, we've got to, and that's what you're doing, right? Is like, it's not an easy time. A lot of people are lost, and a lot of hardworking people are lost, right? It's not a market where, well, you're a legacy loan officer, so you're not making any money, like
Yeah.
it's harder, right? So any tricks, tips are huge right now.
Awesome. So, to give me some insight. So you've read 24/7 Mindset, and what was your perception of what the book was going to be? Then what did it turn out to be? And are they the same or are they different?
Well, we're friends now, so I feel like I can say this. My expectations were ridiculously low when it comes to any mortgage book ever, right? Because, and this is why I got super excited. And in fact, for everybody who's watching this, I didn't even know you. I strictly bought the book out of, well, shit, I'll buy a book about being a better loan officer. Like, I can't lose. I think it was like $27, right?
Yeah.
So then I reached out because I was so impressed by the book for a couple reasons. Number one, because it wasn't a large sales pamphlet, which we always see in our industry, right? Which is, I'm going to show you these things and these things and these things. And then it's like, well, sign up for this. You gave so many nuggets that just from the book, I walked away with probably 5 or 6 things I incorporated immediately into my business, let alone the courses, which I'm now taking and studying all that, which dissects it even to a whole nother level. But I think what you did, which is amazing and important for everybody right now, and I dealt with this prior to COVID, let's say 19, I wasn't getting a lot of repeat past clients. If I did, it was a fluke, right? And then I greatly increased marketing, which is the email marketing, to my past clients. And now that business is, specifically this year, is like 30-40% of my business. How do you make more money based on the work you're already doing? Is a lot of that groundwork. And so, yes, there may be coaching programs that say touch your database and do a once a year party and you got to stay in touch with people, but nobody maps it out. You gave, like, I don't even know, man, it's got to be 5, 6, 7 steps that even if you don't follow anything else, if you just did those, there's no way you don't increase your past client business.
Well, thank you for that. And the goal of the book was to give back, man. If you asked me to sit down and write down how many people will open doors for me, it'd be an eternity. There's so many mentors who opened so many doors for me, and it was my way of wanting to pay it forward. But what's super cool about what you said was you implement it, right? And my biggest goal from that book was, like you said, we're in a tough time, and you realize, I don't know if it was maybe the best time or not the best time to release a book that says, you got to work 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, where rates are at like, 7-8%. But, to me, it was, hey, how do I come up with something catchy that can help people think differently? How do I come up with something that helps someone take off the lenses of cold calling realtors all the time, or door knocking, or doing only open houses, to where everybody's got a gold mine in their database. Just not everybody knows how to mine that database. You've done an exceptional job of mining your email list, and I could learn a ton from you there. But I think one of the biggest things favorite thing I kind of heard you say is, and I want you to elaborate on this. You had very little loans from your database, and now you're over 30% of the loans you're closing is coming from your database.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Dude, absolutely brilliant. What'd you implement? How'd you bring that to life?
So we started to add additional follow-ups. And then we added more follow-ups after your book. Like, immediately when I was done with the book, I emailed my team and I was like, all right, we're adding this additional step and this additional step. And here's the thing for people watching this, and then obviously definitely go and read the book. Like, yes, there's additional things you can do that Wally's doing that you may not want to do at the moment, and then you grow toward that. At a minimum, you have to add additional follow-ups post-closing to stay in contact with those clients. Figure out what they are. Use Wally's system, make up your own, whatever, and that's going to increase it. The thing that helped me, and this hit home in a couple different ways, is that email marketing then went to past clients. And what I realized is, because I wasn't sure, what I realized was a lot of your past clients loved you, thought you did great. And so you sending them an email just touching base about anything, they enjoy it. And I had a couple of past clients say, hey, man, I get your emails. I love the videos. And that was it. And I was like, well, that's massive, because 5 years from now, when he sells or needs to refinance, for sure he's calling me, versus prior. Like, let's not assume. And I saw this stat. It was 13% of people use their original loan officer. 13, that sucks. That means like nobody wants to use their past loan officer. So stop assuming that they're going to call you because you are awesome. Take it out. Follow them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram until you max out or get to whatever numbers, or if they don't follow back, whatever. Make sure you're emailing. Make sure you're staying in contact. You've got to, if the business stays challenging, how can you increase your income? Increase your conversion rate, right? Increase your repeat past clients, right? Like, all these little things have huge dividends at very low cost.
Well, you already paid the money to acquire that client, and you've got a return from the profitability of that client. Why not turn your earned income into residual income from that client over and over and over? Like, it won't cost you any more money to acquire that client because you already have that client, but you can continue making income off that client if you choose to stay in relationship with them.
Well, that's gold. Let's stop right there. You said something that no one ever says in this industry: residual income, right? We know for a fact that an insurance agent gets residual income. Somebody who put out a hit record gets residual income. Loan officers are in a gerbil wheel trying to get the next deal the next month. Have you built a business, or are you that gerbil trying to get the next lead? Hey, got any buyers? Need me on anything? Blah, blah, blah. You're losing the business part of it that is going to end up leading residual. Like, if you know 30% of your business is past clients and you close 10 deals a month, then you can count on 3 deals a month automatically coming in because they're your past clients or referred their cousin or their mom, something like that.
Well, I mean, like you read in the book that, the $200 million that we closed as a team, 81 million of it comes from our past client database. So that's 41%. So 1 out of 4 loans that I close, month in, month out, I'm sorry, 4 out of 10 loans that I close, month in, month out, comes directly from our database. And that's, $80 million or so a year that consistently comes from the database. But to me, there's a slogan that we all learned in mortgage called, I want to be your lender for life, lender for life. Well, for you to be someone's lender for life, you've got to choose to be in their life. And, the unfortunate thing is, we're in a transactional, we act like we're relational people, but we're in a transactional type of business. And once we get paid, we don't know other ways as a loan officer how to continuously getting paid. But once you close a loan, yes, you get paid that commission, but you take that same human, that same loan you close, and refer it to a CPA, a financial advisor, a family will attorney, an insurance agent, and you're starting to receive referrals back. I call it the 1-4-2 rule. You get that one referral from that realtor, you refer it out to 4 partners: CPA, financial advisor, family will attorney, and insurance agent. You're going to get a minimum of 50% of referrals back. So you're going to get a minimum of 2 referrals back. So you just turn that one loan, one commission into 3 commissions. And that's where I feel like the residual income piece is huge, because my goal is to teach a loan officer how to go from being an addition to a multiplication. How do you become a multiplier loan officer?
Man, that's good. I mean, that's brilliant. And I already knew that because I read your book. But to piggyback on that, let's stop and talk about those newer or your 1 to 3 loan officers, right? If you're closing 1 to 3 loans and you want to get to 5 or 6, there's other ways than pounding the phone more, right? More coffee appointments, more this, more that. Spend some time in this system of past clients and referring out, because those systems are also less work. I think you would agree, right, Wally? Once you have it in place, the past client already knows you. So you're not calling going, hey, just want to see if you're going to use me in the next 5 years, right?
No,
So
yeah.
So it's a different thing. How, if you get no repeat business right now or 10%, how do you get to 20? Right? And then grow it from there.
Yeah, I just a good rule of thumb is I like the power of one. Okay, how do you get one referral from your database this month? Right, you've got 30 days in the month, 20 business days in the month. Then the next one is like, hey, how do you get one referral from your database a week? And the door just keeps the opportunities keep evolving, but you just got to simplify it. And there's so many people, and I wrote this in the book, that they overestimate what they can do in a year, overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they could do in 5 years. Underestimate what they can do in 5 years. What I built with the client concierge system, or the post-closing referral generating system, I took 5 years to build it. 5 years of figuring out what to do, what not to do, where my successes were, where my failures were, and I built it off best practices. If I come to your world with a mortgage nugget, it's not like you started it last week or last month, right? How many years have you been at this email newsletter marketing game of yours?
Well, I've been involved in the last 6 months, and then prior to that, it had been around for a year. But no, I mean, we're now on a lot more people's radar, right? We tweaked an ad. So like in the Mortgage Nugget, every Friday there's a coach's corner, which is completely a tip from me, which wasn't there. Well, we're now getting traction where people reach out for my advice or want to follow the things that I'm doing, taking my advice that I'm giving, things like that. But no, it's I think, and you'll agree with this, Wally, and your 5-year thing is probably the perfect example. But for anybody who has had massive growth in the last couple of years or in their career, you can usually articulate that back to something you did 2 years ago that you're super thankful you did, right? It may be focusing on past clients, right? It may be focusing on your CRM, but something prior led to that, which is now where you're at. Well, what's that new thing, right? What's the one thing you can do right now when you have the time, when it's a slower market, that in 2026 you look back and go, oh shit, man, I'm so glad I just started emailing my past clients, because now it's 10% of my business or 20% of my business. Or referring out to a CPA. Hey, now I have a working relationship with a CPA. He referred me 5 deals last year. Man, I wouldn't have made, whatever, $30,000 if I hadn't reached out that one time and stayed in front of them. And so I think that's the thing that's overlooked. It's like the big thing and the bells and the whistles and the shiny object. Find one thing and really put the work in. Maybe it's a YouTube channel, but know that the work you're putting in 2 years from now, you're going to look back. Like I get monthly, I'm getting business off of my YouTube. And that wasn't the case when I started it 5 years ago. It sucked, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the key. If you want to know how to blow up your business, is find these little things and be a maniac about, building it and putting in your business.
Well, I mean, we're coming up to the end of the show, and you've added so much value, and you've given a lot of loan officers a lot of wisdom. And on the record, I want you to email me to set up a call, because I want to figure out what you want to sell your content calendar for. I want to buy it. And number one, number two, then figure out for me if you can help me do a customized email list that's more than once a week, and then just send me the invoice and we'll work that out.
Sounds good.
Just the biggest thing I want to say is, like, how does a loan officer, kind of close out with this last question? How does a loan officer look at someone like you and the massive amount of success that you've had? How can they get started? And the reason I ask that is, there's a great quote by Zig Ziglar that says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So how would you advise someone to get started?
I'm going to start a CRM, and I'm going to email every week. And if it has 7 realtors, I start with 7. How do I go from 7 to 70, right? You have 29,000. I've got a very large number on mine. Those are all byproducts. How do I start today? And I'm telling you this, for those loan officers out there, the first time you get a deal from that approach, obviously reach out to Wally and I and say thank you. But once you get that first approach, I'm just kidding. But once you get that first deal, you're hooked. It's like crack, because now you know that something you're doing is getting you business. what are you going to do? More of it. So start with it. Your emails are going to suck. Your videos are going to suck. Your English is not going to be that great. You're going to have grammar errors. You're going to have all these excuses. Study it and get better. But just like you said, start with it and then figure out the rest of it.
Awesome, man. Very great wisdom. We'll definitely share your contact information below. If someone wants to get a hold of you, to what's the best way to approach you on this? What content?
Man, I mean, I'm Dave, your mortgage guy everywhere. So you can email me at Dave, your mortgage guy. I mean, I'm Dave at the Mortgage Nuggets also. So any one of those emails. And I would love to hear from you, from any of the loan officers who are on the fence out there. And you're the same way, Wally. If you're not sure with what you've got going on and you're on that uncomfortable spot, reach out to some people. I've reached out to you, right? In fact, that's how we're doing this, is because I did reach out to you, right? So don't be afraid that some of these people you're hearing talking, not all of them are going to be as open as Wally has been, but reach out, ask for advice. Hey, what CRM are you using? Should I email once a week? Ask those questions.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of, I've got a rule that if you're brave enough to come approach me, the answer is always yes. So I don't care if I'm at a seminar speaking or whatever. And if someone's brave enough to come up, ask a question, the answer is yes. If it's mentorship, or if it's, hey, can I get that one script, or, hey, can I get access to this? The answer is always yes, because to me, it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there and to see a mentor and want to open up and want to be part of their life. So, man, if there's anything I can do to help you, Dave, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. And it'd be an honor to.
Absolutely. I'm going to take you up on it.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, but from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.